Today, we're going to learn how to stop translating at work and build fast English replies with sentence starters. You'll learn to begin sooner without waiting for a perfect hidden sentence. Start with, from my perspective, we should delay the launch because testing is incomplete. Compare two routes. You can pause, translate everything, and then speak, or begin with, in my view, we should test the new process with one team before a full rollout. Say in my view once. Notice how the opener gives your answer direction before every detail is ready.
One thing to consider is useful when you are not ready to say yes or no. It introduces a factor for evaluation. Try. One thing to consider is the support cost. Keep the opener light, then stress the important information after it. That creates thinking time without sounding empty.
To clarify is different because it corrects or narrows a fact. Keep it connected and move directly to the correction. For example, to clarify, we are not changing the price. We are changing the payment schedule. The listener immediately knows that a factual correction is coming, not a new opinion. Build the mental map behind a fast reply. First decide the function, then retrieve a starter such as what I'm hearing is, then hold one or two English ideas. Slow replies often begin when the speaker plans the entire message internally. The next question is why a memorized starter can still fail. Use what I'm hearing is when you want to confirm another person's message before responding. Say it as one prepared frame. Then use, what I'm hearing is that the client accepts the scope but needs a later delivery date. Add, is that right? When confirmation matters. You are checking understanding, not giving your own judgment.
Could we look at this from another angle? Is a reframing move. Use it when the facts may be correct, but the group is using a narrow decision lens. For example, could we look at this from another angle and compare the cost of delay with the cost of launching now? The question changes the frame without creating unnecessary confrontation.
Use the main issue is when several details compete for attention. Compare we have several problems with. The main issue is whether our current team can support 2 launches in the same week. Then connect that issue to a decision. Say your own version with one specific problem and one next step. I'd like to add that is useful when the discussion you want to contribute one more relevant point. It signals addition, not disagreement. Try. I'd like to add that the support team has already tested the new workflow with 2 clients. Replace the evidence with one true work detail. To sum up tells the listener that you are closing the discussion. Use it after the important points are already known. For example, to sum up, we can meet the deadline, but only if we freeze the scope today. Keep only the decision and the condition that still matters. Do not introduce a new side issue.
My recommendation would be marks a move from analysis to action. Use the full pattern. My recommendation would be to extend the pilot because we still need reliable data. It clearly tells the listener that a proposed next step is coming.
To put it differently signals that you will express the same idea more clearly, not add new evidence. For example, to put it differently, we do not have a demand problem, we have a delivery capacity problem. So the same message becomes easier to follow. You now have several openers, including I can see, so the next challenge is precision. Before speaking, ask what must happen next. Do you need to correct a fact, confirm understanding, change the decision lens, add evidence, summarize, or propose action? The function should choose the starter, not habit. Even I can see should move as one thought, but pronunciation cannot repair incorrect grammar. Compare. From my perspective about the budget, we need reduced cost. The natural structure is, from my perspective, we need to reduce costs in the second phase. After the opener, use a complete clause and the correct verb pattern.
Practice the opinion pattern. From my perspective, the launch is realistic if legal approves the final wording today. The starter announces judgment. The main clause gives the position, and if introduces the condition. Say the line once. Then keep from my perspective and replace the condition with a real condition.
Transfer the consideration frame. Start with, one thing to consider is the cost of training all regional teams at once. The phrase introduces one factor without rejecting the plan. Keep the starter, but change the factor to timing, staffing, support capacity, or dependency. Then explain briefly why that factor could change the decision. Which line corrects a misunderstanding more clearly? I think the budget is different, or to clarify, the budget is approved for the pilot, not for the full rollout. The second line wins because the function is explicit and the corrected fact appears immediately. Say it, then create your own clarification. Retrieve this structure. The main issue is staffing, so we need to decide which project gets priority. It works because the first half names the bottleneck and so connects it to action. Now change staffing to timing or capacity. Make the consequence point to a clear decision.
From my perspective, we should change the plan because the current timeline is too tight. This is a clear judgment supported by a reason. Compare it with repeated I think hesitation. Repeated I think can hide the function and create hesitation. Say the stronger sentence once.
Repair the grammar inside the same opinion frame. From my perspective, we need to reduce costs in the second phase. The opener ends before the main clause, and need is followed by to plus the base verb reduce. Do not say need reduce. Repeat the correct line, then replace reduce costs with one action from your work. Grammar repairs remove one kind of hesitation, but another problem remains. Even I can launch a thought. Imagine you say from my perspective smoothly and then freeze after the comma. Do not prepare the rest as one translated block. Hold one main point and one supporting English idea. Start speaking, then add the next step if needed. One thing to consider is that we don't have enough people is clean because a full clause follows us with that. Compare it with one thing to consider is we don't have enough people. You may also use a noun phrase. One thing to consider is staffing capacity. Say both, then choose the easier form.
To clarify, the deadline is Monday, not Friday should sound like one purposeful correction. Keep to clarify connected, then stress Monday because that is the new fact. Avoid actually, maybe, what I mean is. Try it with a different detail and correct it immediately.
Use the action pattern exactly. My recommendation would be to extend the pilot. After would be, use to plus the base verb. Do not say my recommendation would be extending the pilot. Repeat the correct sentence once. Then use delay, reduce, or keep with one short reason. What I'm hearing is that you want to cancel the project. Is that right? Separates understanding from decision. The first sentence summarizes the other person's message. The second checks it. Now change the content. Summarize a client's request about timing or scope, then ask, is that right? This prevents you from reacting to a message you may have misunderstood. From my perspective should move as one connected chunk, with stress on perspective. Say, from my perspective, the timeline is realistic if testing ends Thursday. Repeat it without pausing inside the opener, then attach a different opinion with the same rhythm.
Retrieve in my view without reading it word by word. Say, in my view, we should test the new process with one team before a full rollout. Keep the opener short and connected. Repeat the frame with a new opinion about timing, cost, or staffing while keeping the rhythm stable.
One thing to consider is means you are adding a factor that should influence the decision. Say, one thing to consider is whether the client can provide clean data by Friday. Then choose a different factor. Notice how the starter creates useful thinking time while remaining relevant. To clarify should move directly into the corrected fact. Say, to clarify, we are not changing the price. We are changing the payment schedule. Compare that with I think there is some confusion. The frame is precise because a correction is clearly coming. Now correct one fact aloud. Practice short planning instead of full translation. You hear, can we ship Friday? Hold two English ideas, possible and supplier confirmation. A frame like I can see helps only if a clear idea follows. Try, the main issue is supplier confirmation, so we need an answer by Thursday. No complete hidden sentence was needed.
Use what I'm hearing is with a calm, collaborative tone because you are checking understanding. Say, what I'm hearing is that the client accepts the scope but needs a later delivery date. Is that right? Keep the frame connected, then summarize one different message from a colleague without adding your own opinion yet.
Could we look at this from another angle? Should sound like one smooth question, not separate words. Keep the middle light and let angle carry the clearest stress. Say it slowly, then naturally. Now add a reframe. Could we look at this from another angle and compare the cost of delay with the cost of launching now? Use the main issue is as a focusing frame. Say, the main issue is whether our current team can support 2 launches in the same week. Now add, so we need to decide which project gets priority. Repeat the full answer, then replace launches with another real constraint while keeping the focus plus action structure. I'd like to add that is a clean entry when you contribute evidence after another speaker. Your next clause should add new information, not repeat the previous point. Say, I'd like to add that renewal rates improved most in accounts that received onboarding support during the first 2 weeks. Then add one different piece of evidence.
Choose the function before the wording.use. To sum up, we can meet the deadline, but only if we freeze the scope today. This is a summary, not a recommendation. Say it once and state the final condition. Keep only the decision and the condition that still matters.
Retrieve the recommendation frame. Say, my recommendation would be to extend the pilot because we still need reliable data from the larger accounts. Then imagine someone asks, what does that mean for the launch? Decide whether you need a recommendation, a clarification, or a simpler rephrasing before you speak. To put it differently means rephrase the same message more clearly. Use, to put it differently, the system can support the launch, but we need 1 extra week to make the data transfer reliable. Now simplify one technical statement while keeping its meaning unchanged. Harder cases depend on what the response must do next. You might first say, I can see the short-term cost. If the facts are right, but the decision lens is narrow, to clarify is the wrong move. Use, could we look at this from another angle? Then introduce the longer-term consequence the original lens ignored.
Do not wait for a phrase list. Begin with, I can see the potential benefit. Now imagine moving customer support to a regional hub next quarter. Add, one thing to consider is how the change would affect response times for our largest clients. Then state what information you need before supporting the move.
Keep the opinion frame natural under pressure. Say, from my perspective, the launch is realistic if legal approves the final wording today. Keep the starter light, stress the judgment and condition, then repeat it with a new condition. Keep the rhythm stable as the content changes. Connect the longer frame smoothly. One thing to consider is the cost of training all regional teams at once. Keep smaller words light and stress cost and training. Then change the factor. One thing to consider is whether the client can provide clean data by Friday. The frame stays stable while the decision factor changes. Use this correction without filler. To clarify, the budget is approved for the pilot, not for the full rollout. Say it once. Then imagine a colleague says the whole program is approved. Correct that misunderstanding with the same starter. Reach the corrected fact quickly because clarification is about precision, not delay.
The main issue is staffing, so we need to decide which project gets priority. Apply that logic to delivery capacity. The main issue is delivery capacity, so we need to decide which customer orders take priority this week. Notice how naming one bottleneck makes the decision immediately actionable.
Retrieval check. Which is clearer? I think maybe we should change it, or from my perspective, we should change the plan because the current timeline is too tight. Choose before the model. The second is stronger because it gives a judgment and reason. Now produce one similar opinion. Build this answer from memory. From my perspective, we need to reduce costs in the second phase. Change one detail while keeping the grammar. Then hide the starter list. For fresh timing, staffing, and budget questions, choose the function, retrieve an opener, and attach 1 or 2 English ideas. Test the whole system without visible support. I can see may be easy to recognize, but retrieval must be automatic. For each fresh question, name the function, retrieve one starter, hold 1 or 2 English ideas, and begin. Then add a reason or next step. If you pause, diagnose the cause.
One thing to consider is that we don't have enough people is a consideration, not a final recommendation. Say it, then add one consequence. Response times may increase. Finally, add one action. We should confirm staffing before launch. Notice the move from factor to consequence to action.
Recap the contrast. To clarify, the deadline is Monday, not Fridays for factual correction. Say it with clear stress on Monday. Then change the fact. To clarify, the meeting starts at 10, not 9. Keep the structure direct and remove filler. For recommendations, remember, my recommendation would be to extend the pilot. The pattern is would be to plus the base verb. A weak version says would be extending. Repeat the correct sentence, then apply the frame with delay, reduce, or keep. Add because and one reason to make it grounded. Finish by retrieving the method from memory. Function, starter, 1 or 2 English ideas, then evidence or a next step. Here how what I'm hearing is that you want to cancel the project. Is that right? Moves as one thought. Keep the contraction smooth. In your next 3 meetings, use one appropriate frame before every response. The goal is faster, clearer English built forward.